Hey, this is Katie, and I'm doing the video discussion portion of my math intervention lesson. I decided for this one to focus on student E because he was the student that was struggling the most with this, and I wanted to find a way to make sure I met the needs of this student and so they can meet the objectives. So this first slide shows what the student did in yesterday's lesson. That was their exit ticket, so that I could look at and choose some examples for display for today's lesson. This is student E's example, and most of student E's work, now that we're getting into larger numbers, is in direct modeling. He was able to do things in tens and ones previously that he's not doing now in the hundreds, and I was looking at why that is. He had a pretty solid concept of tens and ones, and I want to encourage the use of the strategies that he had then and build on them. He also previously used the standard algorithm, but now he's not using it. And I think this is just because of the unfamiliarity of the hundreds place. I want to showcase similarities between the direct modeling that he's doing and other strategies, and we're going to do that through a compare and connect number talk at the beginning. And then the main activity, the scavenger hunt, the strategy scavenger hunt, will help require all the students to attempt new strategies in a fun way. Then finally, the last point that I really wanted to focus on from the student's abilities, he'd been able to use derived facts and looked for friendly numbers when we're in the tens, but I really want him to reach forward and do that with the hundreds as well, so that he's not continually having to draw everything out. Now, within the lesson itself, we'll move into our compare and connect number talk, and we'll use that time to really highlight the similarities between the direct modeling and other options that the student has for strategies. So we're going to do that by asking what they find is similar or different between the different strategies that I picked out. And we'll have them come up and choose colors and highlight the differences. I'll put these inside of transparency so that students can draw on them without actually drawing on the papers. But I anticipate they'll notice things like, well, there's 500s in the direct modeling strategy, and there's 500s in each of the strategies. I'm hoping they notice things like subtracting 30 or 3 tens in the direct modeling strategy also happens in the other strategies in different ways. There's just different ways of showing them. If not, I'll have to use guiding questions like, well, I wonder where the 30 is over here. Does it disappear? Is it still there? Did we get the right? We all have the same answer, so let's see what they did that's similar to what we did. After that, we'll do a turn-in talk where I'll have them talk to their neighbor about which strategy they would like to use if they hadn't used it before. Explain why that strategy works, and if they can think of another way they can do that. During that time, I can walk around and assess whether students are engaged in the lesson, whether they really are able to explain another student's strategy. So I'll use that as both a formative assessment and an assessment toward our standards. After that, we'll move into our strategy scavenger hunt. So there'll be 3 stations set up, 1 on the rug and 2 at tables, and each station will have a focus strategy at it that they'll have to try to work on. So they can choose a problem, and then they can choose which strategy to use. They have to try each strategy at least once. They have to visit each station at least once. So, for example, there'll be a direct modeling station. We'll have some manipulatives out, and they can try to figure out one of the problems using direct modeling. And they'll move to the friendly number station, and there'll be an example of a problem from the previous day that's done as a friendly number. I'm also planning to have resident experts, so students that already seem to have mastered the strategies. I will have them be the expert for that station, so they can just do all of their work at one station rather than moving around, and if the student gets stuck after trying on their own, they can give them a hint. So that enables students to not feel as stuck, but still be challenged, and also for tag students to be more challenged. After we do the scavenger hunt, we're going to move into a thumbs up, thumbs down to help me understand whether, or help me know and assess whether or not they feel confident in the use of their strategies. So I'll say something to the effect of, hey, okay, it's thumb check time. Show me if you found a good way to solve at least one problem. Great, everybody did. Now, did anyone solve a problem in more than one way? Did that help you know if you were right, or if to help you understand the problem better? Please turn to your neighbor and talk about that. And share your favorite new strategy. And then the last thumbs up or down, show me if you think you can use all 3 strategies on a new problem tomorrow. That'll help me gauge their confidence level and where we might need to start on a future lesson. If I anticipate seeing a lot of maybe thumbs, particularly on that last question where I'm asking if they feel confident in it, because it's a new set of strategies for some of them. So even if they were able to use it successfully, they may not feel confident in it. If I'm seeing thumbs down, I'm going to definitely take note of that so that I can check their exit ticket or their scavenger hunt more intentionally and see if they were understanding the strategies or not. Because while Student E will probably go directly to the modeling station and go through and want to do all of them like this, he's going to need encouragement to move on to the next station. And each student has to try each station at least once and make an attempt. So what I might suggest is, hey, try to find a friendly neighbor for this one right here. What's an easy way to add that? Could you add 10 to that? Why don't you give that a try? Just to encourage them to be successful in something that they already know the answer for over here. Same goes for when we're doing our number talk. While the student may really understand what's going on over here, they may need to see the connection so they can move forward into a more sophisticated theory or over to here, and so they can see the connections. And if they're able to solve it over in the direct modeling, then they'll feel more confident and be able to do it in the other strategies as well. I think that about does it. Thanks.